we took the chance to visit the studios of America's leading golf network. The Golf Channel celebrates its 20th anniversary of being on air this year, and it's safe to say that a lot has changed since original founder Joe Gibbs and Arnold Palmer first thought up the concept for the channel. The Golf Channel now broadcasts everything from reality TV shows to coverage of professional events. It all began back in 1995 when TV mogul Joe Gibbs had a chance meeting with Arnold Palmer.
I was in the cable television business and had been doing that, building and operating cable systems. Arnold and I met by chance at the 1990 PGA Championship. And he stayed at my guest house. We became friends. We played golf together. I thought that was it. And then later I was reading literature about channel compression technology is going to give us the ability to put on more channels. I started thinking about things that might make sense, and golf was at the top of my list. I knew Arnold Palmer. I'd been to a couple of golf tournaments and played a half dozen rounds, and started doing research. And once the research came back, it was very positive, and contacted Arnold, and we started working on it, and years later, here we are.
And it turned out to be a huge success, with 120 million homes now receiving the broadcast worldwide. At the studios, Arnie still has a reserved parking spot for whenever he drops by. Co-host of The Morning Drive, Matt Ginella, was kind enough to give us a behind-the-scenes tour around the studios in Orlando, Florida.
Welcome, golfing world, to Golf Channel. Thank you for celebrating our 20th anniversary with us. And in doing so, I'm going to give you a tour of our facility, our studios, our house, the house that Arnie built. We're in over 120 million homes worldwide. 80 of those are in the United States, 83 different countries and 12 different languages. But for today, I'm sticking with English. All right, welcome to Studio C, the original home of Morning Drive, now going back almost 4 years. I remember very distinctly walking into the studio and realizing how small it was. So small, in fact, they couldn't actually have real cameras in here. They would have a steady cam from time to time, but these little hotheads and along the wall would be all the cameras that we had access to. Guests would come in, we'd crouch around this little interview set, very intimate. Then it was time to grow up a little. So as you can see, we're in a much bigger studio here, Studio AP. Launched in January of 2013, only weeks after I started at Golf Channel. Studio C, at that time, felt really small. Studio AP, when we first got in here, felt real big. Too big, maybe. Now, over time, we've grown into it. It shrinks, it gets more comfortable. It's like home again. It's the interview set over there. That's where Cara will be interviewing me about my various travels, sharing information, not only about the US, but I'll be telling her about her UK. All right, off to a bigger studio even yet. On to Studio A, the original studio at Golf Channel, going back to 1995. They film a lot of shows in here. Obviously, the simulator is a great, effective tool for things like the Golf Fix, Lesson T Live, School of Golf, 3 of our instruction shows, plus Golf Central is shot here. Many upgrades and improvements made to this studio over the years. There's also been fortunate situations right here on the simulator. Jamie Sedlowski, the long drive champion, came to this studio and broke this simulator once using a driver, right through the net, right through the wall. Gary Williams' famous quote, "This match is over." He came back again, broke it with a 7-iron. We've upgraded the simulator now as well. No more breaks, not for now, but we do have the closest to the pin contest here a lot. 17th hole at Sawgrass. Everybody who comes through here, we usually try to put them through to the closest pin contest. No hole-in-ones, not yet. So welcome to our control room, really air traffic control. I spent a lot of time in here. Lauren Thompson sits back there when she's not on set. This is a kind of a huddle area. A lot of people come in here, able to watch the action. I love watching the directors do their thing. Me, still being pretty new to TV, this is all very entertaining to me. All the graphics, all the music, everything's being put together here. Still very impressive to me. Never gets old. Welcome now to Arnie's Cafe. Opened in October of 2014, and in celebratory fashion, the king himself stopped by for yet another ribbon cutting ceremony. You can see there on the windowsill, there's the quote Without that quote, which ends, "None of us would be here," well, none of this would be here.
A couple of years after we had gotten started, I still had not raised the full money that I needed to launch the channel. I was still working on that. So Arnold was getting a little cold feet. His advisors were telling him, "This is too risky, you shouldn't be doing this." And it came to a point where he was starting to listen to him. I flew to Orlando, sat down in the boardroom with him and his advisors, and I explained the whole business plan to them and how if they just work with me, I'll get to it hopefully, and we'll get going. Arnold listened to everybody's point of view, and then he looked around the room and said, "Gentlemen, if I hadn't tried to hit it through the trees a few times in my life, none of us would be here." And after that, they just shut up. And he was committed and was always a great partner afterwards.
Back in the lobby area, interesting fact, of the 700 employees at Golf Channel, 300 of them are across the street working for Golf Now. Golf Now has 8,000 golf courses utilizing their technology to book tee times. Wildly successful venture, and this seems an appropriate place to say goodbye. We're nearly out of time, but the king himself, we owe it all to him.